Mayor, Attorney Moran, and Treasurer Gafka are with us as well, and we have a quorum.
Wonderful, thank you. Trustee Hill, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have several announcements, Clerk Perillo.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The first is that Village Hall and our other village offices will be closed this coming Monday in celebration of Labor Day. Second, the annual Village Cup Regatta, hosted by the Port Jefferson Yacht Club to benefit pancreatic cancer research, will be held on September 6th. The 11th annual Culper Spy Day at the Drowned Cottage Museum will be held on September 6th and 6th and 7th. The next meeting of the Board of Trustees is a work session meeting scheduled for 5:00 p.m. on September 10th, 2025. And lastly, the 11th annual Dragon Boat Race, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, will be held on the 13th of September.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor.
One more announcement off the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to read a statement that was released this afternoon from Port Jeff Village Code Enforcement, posted to our social media pages and Code Enforcement's social media page. We want the community to know that the village is aware and very concerned about the disorderly the disorderly groups that have been congregating in and around village parking lots during late night hours. Please be assured that the village is working with the Suffolk County Police Department's 6th Precinct personnel to ensure that proper enforcement measures are taken if these groups continue to disturb the peace and compromise public safety and welfare of the village. Please continue to call 911 for all police matters that require emergency response and enforcement. I also wanted to say that we are aware of and see room to improve the it that addresses disorderly conduct in our village. I've asked Attorney Moran to take a look at that, and we've been discussing it among the trustees. And so he will take a look at the penalty section and see if there's an opportunity to amplify the enforcement matters. Do you want to?
Mayor, at your request, I did do that research. I did have a brief discussion with the sergeant here from the 6th Precinct about the applicability of 181-6 of the Village Code that discusses disorderly conduct. I believe there's multiple sections of 181-6 that would be fruitful in making those tickets, one, returnable to our justice court as opposed under the penal law in Suffolk County District Court, wherein the prosecutorial discretion will be mine and mine alone. And also, slight amendments to that chapter, although it discusses village public places and public streets to specifically add municipal parking lots, and also amend section 181-7, which sets forth the penalties, which defaults to the standard penalty section, by adding to that penalty section or amending that penalty section to say something along the lines of any violation of this section or this chapter is subject to a fine not less than $500, no more than $5,000. What that means in layman's terms, if you get this ticket and are found guilty or plead guilty, your fine will be at least $500 up to $5,000 based on the gravamen of the disturbance. And as second offenses occur, possibly those fines would also increase dramatically. Also, at your request, Mayor, I've had conversations with the town of Brookhaven, along with the inspector of the 6th Precinct, in reference to cameras at the Brookhaven Marina, where also kids tend to congregate. We kind of got crossover jurisdiction there. And they've committed to increase patrols at the public safety level, as well as a mutual understanding with the 6th Precinct that anything that happens there, the town of Brookhaven has no less than 15 cameras that survey that lot from just about every angle, and the ability to share that information with not only the village, but also the Suffolk County Police in the event of an investigation. So what I would ask, Mayor, if the board's inclined, is at some point during the resolution phase, we do in fact set a public hearing out of process as an add-on resolution to amend Chapter 181 of the code to significantly increase those penalties for violations as discussed by the mayor, and add any additional language that gives better enforcement tools to the Suffolk County Police and our code enforcement officers.
Okay, so for one am in favor of that add-on resolution out of process. What's the process for taking it out of process?
A resolution to set a public hearing at our next regular scheduled meeting to amend Chapter 181 of the Village Code.
So we would do that tonight
You could do that today.
during the resolution agenda?
Correct.
Okay.
I
All
believe
right.
the clerk is taking copious notes in
Yeah,
that
I
effort.
see that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Serious
Mayor.
matter. Thank you so much for doing that work. And now I would like to invite Sergeant Steve Tesserero to come up for a public safety and welfare update, followed by Kevin Cooper from our Code Enforcement Supervisor's Office.
Good evening. All right, so my name is Sergeant Stephen Tesserero. We prepared a little bit of an analysis, as we normally do, looking at this year, the last 30 days, as opposed to last year, and just to reflect upon that to see how we're doing, what's changed, and what we need to pay more attention to. A brief synopsis of what we're looking at: total criminal incidents. Last year, this time frame, we saw 22 in the village. This year, we're at 19. Of those criminal incidents, luckily, nothing jumps off the page as major. Arguably, our most significant one was an assault that was cleared by an arrest. We made an arrest on that. No aggravated harassments, no burglaries. Last year, we had 1 criminal mischief. This year, we did take a second for a total of 2. Harassments last year, 8. This year, 5. Larcenies down to 2 as opposed to 4 last year. 1 menacing, none this year. On the non-criminal side, total, we saw 361 this period last year, as opposed to 351 this year. And again, nothing significant jumps off the page at me, other than the disturbances are up pretty significantly. 83 last year, this time frame, 116 this year. And I believe, as was previously touched upon, the majority of those are this group of kids on bikes that are pretty much wreaking havoc. So before this meeting, I had a brief discussion with my inspector, my CO, and Inspector Mamey is, he's tapped into the happenings of everywhere in the precinct, but he asked me to convey that we will deploy some additional resources to try to get a resolution to this. Initially, when we were getting called a few weeks prior, the majority were children. I guess maybe if it's changed and it's adults, or if it's changed whatsoever and moving locations, and that's something we need to know about. I think, as was previously touched upon, the addition to the disorderly conduct violation would be a great addition. Anything we can do to properly enforce the code, I'm all ears, and we're willing to do that. The whiskey unit, our 2 enforcement guys assigned to Port Jet Village, are out and about Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, so they're out there and they're actively briefed on this, and they're looking for it. Our next community meeting, scheduled for September 9th. It's going to be at the precinct at 1900 hours, 7 p.m. And the biggest cause of concern I saw from all this, again, the disturbances, both at the Brookhaven Town boat ramp, and we're getting it from behind the Tommy's Place in the Frigate. So we're on board. We're going to deploy the resources we need to just today, our COPE guys initiated another patrol check, and that's basically a system where we're directing patrol resources to target certain areas at certain times. So based upon the feedback we received from the community, we're going to have mandatory patrol checks at both the boat ramp and that big parking lot behind Tommy's place in hopes of hopefully deterring it before it becomes a 911 call. But as was previously mentioned, don't ever feel like a bother calling 911. We rely on the community's input to do what we do, and the more data we can get and the more resources we can direct to the problem, the better. So if you're seeing an issue, we want to know about it, and we don't mind coming down and trying to handle that for you. So that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Just state your name, please, and your address.
Sure. Eric R. Santiago, 119 Beach Street. I can tell you exactly when the kids are there. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about 9 o'clock, 15, 12 to 15 cars, kids on e-bikes, they're doing wheelies, the guys in the cars are doing donuts, and it goes on till 11 o'clock. We're trying to sleep, and I look out the window and I see them smoking pot. They're passing joints. In the morning, I go out there, I pick up beer cans, I pick up plastic wrappers and all kinds of food. Sergeant Escobar from, I guess, your unit has been wonderful. This is what's going on. And, I just want to say, and I have an idea for you guys to think about.
Go ahead.
So it's Brookhaven Town. They don't have stickers. They're not even supposed to be in there without a sticker. If you guys put a gate on the exit, like close the parking lot at the end of the night, the only way to get into that parking lot would be to break the law and go through the Barnum Avenue one that has big stop signs that says "Do not enter." So if you put a gate there, at 9:30 at night, anybody in that parking lot has gone through a stop sign. So it's illegal. So you're
Right.
all set to give them a summons.
So the source of this complaint is the boat ramp. Do I have that correct?
The Brookhaven boat ramp, yeah.
Okay.
And Beach Street.
Well, that you mentioned a good angle, because theoretically, these people, if they're parking there, should have to pay for parking. So that's at least an angle that we can credibly approach.
Officer, if I may, because I have some experience in that area, the town of Brookhaven has beach guards there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to enforce the parking. And as I stated earlier, they are increasing their patrols to write other violations, such as disorderly conduct within the, or loitering under the town code at that area. They do not have stickers anymore in the town of Brookhaven. Everything's done virtually and everything's done electronically. So the idea that they would be doing something wrong if there was no sticker is not accurate. And although I would love to put that burden on the Suffolk County Police, any alterations to the park, such as gates or anything like that, would have to go through the town of Brookhaven. So if you have any ideas like that, I would direct you to your town councilman.
That would work. A gate at the exit, at the end of the night, you close it, and then the only way to get in there would be for the kids to break the law, to go right through the stop signs on the Barnum Avenue entrance.
Are they mostly kids on bicycles, or we're seeing mostly
No,
vehicular traffic?
They're e-bikes and cars,
Okay.
both. More cars. They're doing donuts
Yeah.
at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You can go look at the tire marks.
Yeah. So we had a conversation with our whiskey, our enforcement unit today. They're on board. They're a couple of our top cops. So if anyone can come up with a creative answer for this ongoing disturbance, these guys are
I just
Yeah.
gave you a great one.
yeah. Listen, you're talking about, you're hitting the nail on the head. That it's a huge pet peeve of mine. I like nice cars. I like to be outside, but it's one thing if you're just hanging out. It's another thing that you're creating a disturbance. And these kids are, to be frank, they're fearless. They're riding in traffic. They're obstructing traffic. We're not going to tolerate that. So I can assure you, if my guys are witnessing that in front of them, they're gonna get dealt with. So
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello, Karen Kelly, 105 Beach Street. I just want to kind of second what Eric said. I'm glad you all are proactive on this. 11:42 on Sunday night, I called 911, and I hate to call 911 because I know by the time they get there, they're gone. There's doing donuts. It was so loud, it woke my household family member up from a dead sleep. And they're gone in a matter of minutes. So I don't know how you're going to catch them, but I do think a regular sweep of the parking lot would be really helpful.
Yeah.
And they're all the way over by B Street. They're not at the ramp.
Mhm.
I haven't seen any of the kids on bikes because I can't see, but I can sure hear what's going on. So anything that can be done would be
Yeah.
appreciated. But I also see burnout lines on Brook Road. I've seen them on Caroline Avenue. It's everywhere they're doing it.
Yeah.
But,
I would rather have an interaction with these people. I'd rather summons these people and set the standard that it won't be tolerated. However, like I said before, we did initiate a patrol check. So hopefully with our increased presence, maybe this doesn't happen whatsoever. They get the point. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're driving past the same parking lot, multiple times a week and they're always seeing a police car parked down in front, a lot of people think twice before they do, silly stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
whether we're coming and taking enforcement action, which is, like I said before, if we're witnessing it in front of us, we're gonna take care of that for you guys. Whether it's that or just, proactively being there and hopefully deterring it in general, we're on board and we'll do everything we can.
yeah.
Ma'am, additionally, if when you call 911 at that hour, I would also ask you to call 451-6161, which is the town of Brookhaven dispatch. Even though the town might not have anyone to respond, those documented calls are create a log, and we frequently have meetings with the 6th precinct and discuss problem areas and where our calls are coming from. So as long as it's being documented, it's not going unheard, and even though you believe that, oh, they're gone, I'm not going to
Okay.
call, make the call to create the record.
Yes.
Because that's what compels municipalities to act.
Okay,
And
okay,
that's why we're acting now.
okay. Thank you all.
Can you say that number one more time?
451-6161.
Hi, I live at 111 Beach Street, which is directly across. I have a full view of the parking lot, the town, everything. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you state your name too,
My name's
please?
Chris Cremens. So yeah, I also have a camera. I'm not sure if that's legal to be looking over the whole town with the camera, or if that's even, can be used, but it picks up license plates. It zooms in 25 times. I have evidence on that shows everything that's going on every single day. Now my question is that something that could be used to help us, come to a resolution?
Sure. Where exactly are you referring to the footage capturing?
So my house is 111 Beach Street, which is, 3 houses down from West Broadway.
Sure.
By that green fenced-in area.
Yep.
So it's way up on the 3rd floor. There's a high-res camera with a 25 zoom, so I can actually zoom into areas. And when I hear them doing burnouts, I can chase them around, and I can zoom into their license plates as well.
That's extremely helpful.
Okay.
We spoke before about some of them being borderline kids. Even if we're not witnessing it, it's a great tool to pay them a visit, maybe speak to their parents if they're young, or even pay them a visit personally at their house. So that's a huge tool. So what we do when we respond, if you have an egregious case and you call 911 and we respond, we have a system where we can invite you to share evidence, and you can clip whatever portion of evidence you'd like, and you can submit it. And it gets uploaded to our database. And it's pretty interesting technology because that can actually save that plate on a hot file. So if we want to flag certain plates for certain reasons, we can do that. Or if we want to just, in a micro sense, just have a conversation with that person, or maybe go investigate something further, that's huge. Anything you can view in public, for the most part, you can video. If you're standing in a lawful place, for a lawful reason, and you're videoing something that you can see with your eyes, no harm, no foul. Especially if it's attached to your residence and it's just viewing the public. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my next question is the last one, I promise. I understand it can be a waste of time when the kids are doing donuts and then they're sitting there, and then the cops come, because I do call the cops. So, and it's almost gotten to a point where they're just passing by now because nobody's doing anything. So like, they're not even stopping there. So it is being recorded. There is no presence when the police are passing. It did stop after that, and it's happened on a couple instances. But I'm assuming there's nothing you can do, otherwise you would. For example, another time they just sat in the parking lot. We're kind of like watching them because they weren't really doing anything, but they were hanging out there loitering. I'm not sure what the rules are for that, but nobody even said anything to them. They kind of pulled up next to each other and just hung out there and then eventually just left. So I'm just wondering, like, why wouldn't they at least say something? Or, I mean, obviously there's the same kids, maybe they're underage, you know, and they just can't do anything because they are. I mean, is there an explanation for it?
A couple different things. So when we're talking about vehicular and traffic law stuff, the majority of cases, you have to witness in your presence to take enforcement action. However, if there's a clear video with a plate that clearly depicts whatever you're calling about, there's no room for argument at that point. So that's why I'm saying it's extremely valuable if you have footage that, you know, puts that car, that plate, these kids doing exactly what they're doing.
So like you said, I can upload that when I do call in, and then they can see that and say, okay, well, I can match this to that car, and they did this, so I can now go talk to them and maybe have a reason to
Absolutely.
get them out of here. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a giant help.
Oh, great.
And if you do that, I mean, you guys mentioned before, just, you know, creating a paper trail and just documenting all these things is extremely valuable, because I take a look, you know, maybe I'm not picking up a certain circumstance in the community, a certain issue, this number jumps off the page at me. I mean, we saw a significant increase in disturbances in the village this time over last year. There's an explanation for that. So just documenting that is extremely valuable, because now we have to act. You know, it's egregious, and it's time to act. And I said before, it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like guys doing, you know, it's never an issue until it's in your backyard. If it was in my backyard, I'd demand service. We want to serve you in your backyard. You know, that's what it boils down to. So, you know, discretion-wise, there's really going to be no discretion if our guys are out there seeing it. You know, they're going to take enforcement action.
Okay.
But even if you have something and, you know, the cars go and it's too late and we get there and they're not there, uploading that footage is huge. I have 2 guys steady assigned to the village that have time for follow-up. You know, they can pay them a visit, and you know, in egregious enough cases, if we're talking about reckless driving investigations, it's a little bit of a stretch. I'm getting far, but if it's that egregious, I mean, we can seize cars. You know, so if we have a circumstance that's really putting people in danger, where it's a reckless driving, you know, investigation with footage, we can go out and seize cars. So I hope it doesn't get to that. You know, I'd rather it just end with our presence and you know, some enforcement. But if it gets to that, then, you know, that's certainly a tool we can act upon.
Okay, and you mentioned cameras before. Now, there are cameras there on the poles across from the, right across from where the employees hang out for the ramp. So I guess on those poles right there. Now, those are for law enforcement, or are those town cameras?
They're Brookhaven town cameras. Historically, if there are criminal investigations going on, the town's always cooperative in sharing that. You know, it's something that if we need to access, we certainly can. Yeah, we'll take any bit of evidence we can. You know, but as I said before, some of these vehicle and traffic law circumstances are a little difficult. We do have to witness it in our presence. Unless it rises to a certain level, then we can, you know, rely on video and investigate from there. You know, we really want to be out there and deterring it, or out there observing it and taking action. You know, we have unmarked cars. We have guys that, you know, are very skilled in doing this. So if it comes to that, we'll be all over it.
Okay, and just, I'm sorry, it is creating a community of, there's a bum living or using his vehicle as a closet and coming in and out whenever he pleases, and also sleeping in the vehicle. It hasn't moved for a long time now.
Where is that?
It's on Beach Street. It's a white vehicle, looks like it used to be a service vehicle that something chewed into the side of. I mean, you can't miss it, and it doesn't move anymore. So
And
it's been
it's-
called on multiple times. I'm not sure if this is a resident and that somehow he's fooling somebody, that he's moving it and coming back. Oops, sorry. Or it's just going that unnoticed. But we are calling on it, and there is nothing happening. My children play, within maybe 150, 200 feet from this person, and this person actually recently overdosed, and there were cops there. There was like a whole thing that went on. Yet this person's still there.
Are
and
they
it just blows my mind.
they're living in this vehicle?
Well, I see them, I mean, I'm not there all the time, I do have a camera.
Sure.
I could look at it, but he's there a lot, and then sometimes he'll sit there with the hood open and like looking and making, like weird faces, but he's not really doing anything or bothering anybody per se, but he is, just by his presence and the fact that he overdosed and the fact that he's obviously got issues.
When you say white vehicle, do you have anything, is it like a sedan, a truck, a van?
It's a pickup truck with a
Pickup truck.
cap on the back.
Do you know what make by chance?
I think it's a Chevy.
Okay.
Again, it's pretty beat up.
It's the one with the guy living in it.
That one. Yeah,
Well,
it's got
but-
an orange light at the top of it. Again, it looks like kind of like an old service vehicle.
Okay.
Um,
All these details are important so that when I do make contact with him, you can say, there's no way to explain it otherwise. Hey, listen, we have a chewed up white Chevy pickup truck. It's exactly where it was reported, and I'm seeing this in front of me. There's no way to deny it. So,
Yeah.
it sounds like tedious details, but we take as much as we can.
Yeah, and somebody that's staying there like that and getting away with it, it obviously invites more, The kids are hanging out there, there's bums living there. I feel, and I feel my neighbors, I think I can speak for them too, that Beach Street is kind of like the slums of Port Jeff, and that's how it's looked at anyway. And there's garbage just, being dumped in front of our houses from the water. They're dragging it out, just putting it there. And there's no, there are kids literally doing really bad things in front of my house that I can see, and so can my children in their vehicles, in that hidden spot. It's a very hidden spot. And they feel comfortable doing that there. Same cars every night, parking there, doing the same thing. It's, it's just, there's a lot that can be done that's not being done.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like, we're being ignored a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to feel like that. Like I said, if it was in my backyard, I'd demand service. So you're well within your right. And, I'll do everything in my power to take care of it for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to have another conversation with our two whiskey guys. Like I said, they're assigned 24/7. When they're on duty, they're in Port Jeff Village. So if there's something going on with the village they need to know about, and they'll handle it for you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
There's,
Sergeant.
sorry, I just have one question. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. The whiskey unit is generally a summer assistance. When does the final day for that?
Historically, it's usually just after Labor Day. We ran a little bit late last year. I don't have an exact date for you.
Okay.
I can have a conversation and get you a date.
Yeah, that would be great. And if,
Yeah.
given everything that's going on, would it be possible to have that extended through September?
That's certainly a conversation. Not my call to make, but
Uh-huh.
that's certainly a conversation I can have for you.
Okay, thank
Sure.
you. I appreciate
problem.
that. And if we need to put in a formal request for that, I think we can, as a board,
Yeah.
work on that.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I believe it was extended briefly last year, at least
Yeah.
2 or 3 more weeks. We really want to get, as close as we can to the end of September if we can, but I don't have an exact date, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Officer, what are the hours for the whiskey team? I don't recall off the top of my
Sure.
head.
They're 4 p.m. to 4 a.m.
To 4 a.m., okay. We're hearing from not just residents, but also from shop owners quite a bit. I mean, it's really two things. It's kids on e-bikes, but it's also young adults in trucks and souped-up cars, motorcycles, et cetera. We see Suffolk County come through. We see the cars, but the reality, or at least the feedback I'm getting, is that as soon as the car's gone, right, They all come back. And it's becoming not just a weekly or weekend occurrence, it's becoming a nightly occurrence. I don't know if you guys are seeing that too. So I'm a firm believer that, deterrence, like coordinated deterrence, is going to cause all these people to find someplace else to go because they shouldn't be here. And, in addition to sort of a planned update on the code for loitering and, looking at the noise ordinances again and seeing whatever we can do there. But could we also ask that Kevin Cooper, and I know you guys are already talking about this, but maybe just coordinate on the schedule so that there's always sort of a presence, whether it's our code enforcement folks or whiskey or, Suffolk County cop cars, because the best way to clear them out is just to be there.
I agree.
Thank you. Really appreciate your efforts and your thinking
We're
about
trying.
this.
Like I said, it's never a problem until it's in your backyard, and then it's your problem. So if it's your problem, it's our problem. And
No, we
doing
get it. You're
everything we
playing
can.
whack-a-mole too, right? So, they're just going to move somewhere else. Hopefully Nassau County.
You know what? We never go off duty, and it's what we do. So
Okay.
we're trying.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Sergeant, I'll be-
Supervisor Cooper, welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for having me again, everybody. Code in August, we had 16 online complaints. 12 of them were anonymous. Just some of the complaints that came across. We had barking dogs, garbage and debris in commercial and residential areas. Noise complaints, we had 6 in the parking lots. And the other noise complaints were loud music and barking dogs. I had 2 complaints via the code email. Both were for garbage and debris in front of a residence. I opened up 10 code investigations for the month. 2 were building without a permit. 1 was dogs that needed care. I conferred with Brookhaven Animal Control. I'm working with them on that. 1 illegal basement apartment. 2 cases for property maintenance. 1 for too many trees being cut without a permit. 1 was the driveway constructed without a permit. 1 was commercial garbage, and 1 illegal business sign. Via the code phone, we had 12 incidents. 3 were for e-bikes. 1 was a car doing donuts on the Brookhaven boat ramp that we just spoke about. Suffolk County Police responded, and CC report was prepared. We had 1 physical altercation in the Mariners lot. PD responded with my personnel. The people involved were dispersed by the police. No injuries and no arrests. We had 1 telephone line down, broken manhole cover, 1 accident. There was an obstruction in the roadway, unleashed dogs on the beach, and 1 for construction on Sundays. We issued, so far this month, 931 parking tickets and 3 field appearance tickets. As far as the groups at night, the nightly, it's becoming almost nightly with the groups in the parking lots. I have assigned 1 car at least to sit in the lot between 10 and the end of their tour. Sometime their tours end at 11, sometime midnight. I have also put out a position vacancy for personnel that we needed just weekends, nights, and we got an overwhelming response. I have 18 applications in for those positions, and we did, my assistant supervisor, Anthony Flammy, did 10 interviews this week for that. So hopefully by the next meeting, I should be able to hire some people that can work later into the night and have a more robust appearance, presence on the weekends. What else we got? And then this week, as Clerk Perillo mentioned, we had this month, we had the Dragon Boat Race, the Regatta, and the Family Fun Run coming up in September. So that's what I got. Any questions? Okay.
No questions. No questions? Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Kevin. That was very extensive, and it's obvious that you're all working very hard.
Yeah, I mean, every complaint I get for any disturbances in parking lots, noise, I I refer them to the Suffolk County 6th Precinct COPE unit, Casey and John. So they know about every complaint you put in. If you don't call 911, I get them, and I send them to Casey and John. And then they process them, as they can through whatever platoon they need to get it out to for, days 4 to 12s or midnight. So they know about everything happening that they need to know about, so they can address it properly.
And how helpful is it to have complaints that are actually not anonymous?
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to make a complaint where they want to leave their name, number, and address, but it helps me because I can write a ticket I can bring to court. I can't write a ticket on an anonymous complaint unless my people actually see the violation, which a lot of times we're getting thereafter, like the sergeant stated. So if you can and you want to leave your name and address, I can write more easily a noise violation, a disorderly conduct violation, and things like that. So it's very helpful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we're going out of order just a tiny bit. We have 3 guests in our courtroom, meeting room tonight. Chris Scotto, John Shields, and Marianne Kurtz. Can you all come forward, please? Just to the front. Earlier this month, on August 2nd, we were notified of a situation. Renee Lemmerman, can you come up here too, please? So Renee Lemmerman is the director of the Department of Recreation, and she's responsible for hiring lifeguards and identifying quality people to be employees in the Village of Port Jefferson. She hired these 2 young men. So you get recognition too. Maybe not a certificate, but anyway, we invited these 3 individuals to our meeting tonight to recognize them because on August 2nd, all 3 of them were responsible for helping to save the life of a gentleman who was in distress on East Beach right in and around 5:30 on a Saturday afternoon. So we've referred them and their efforts to the American Heart Association for a Heart Saver Award. But in the meantime, what we wanted to do was thank you personally. I know you're going off to college, Chris. I don't know, John, if you're going off to school too, so we had to get you in here before you left. And Marianne, it's very nice to meet you today. So I'm going to come around. I'd like to read these. Jeff, can you help us with microphones or something so that we can, and I'd invite also the trustees to come alongside as we present these certificates of recognition. All right, why don't you come on up here? We'll start with you, Chris. In recognition of his quick thinking, professionalism, and heroic response during a medical emergency at Port Jefferson East Beach on Saturday, August 2nd, at East Beach, Port Jefferson, New York, this certificate of commendation is presented to lifeguard Chris Scotto, whose dad is also here. Hello. Okay, not done. At approximately 5:30 p.m., while serving as the sole lifeguard on duty, Chris observed distress on the shoreline and immediately sprinted into action. Upon arriving at the scene, he found a gentleman who was pale and shaking and soon lost consciousness. With 2 lifeguards already off duty and the manager at West Beach, Chris remained calm under pressure and took decisive action. He retrieved vital emergency equipment, including a backboard and an AED, and ensured they were brought swiftly to the scene, enabling immediate life-saving measures to continue. His coordination alongside community medical professionals and manager John Shields provided critical support in stabilizing the victim and transporting him safely. Chris Scotto's vigilance, courage, and dedication exemplify the highest standards of lifeguard service and reflect great credit upon himself and the Village of Port Jefferson. I present this to you on the 27th day of August 2025 on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Port Jefferson. Okay. Thank you. Next, as we go through the story, is Marianne Kurtz. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Kurtz. Okay. In recognition of her exemplary courage, swift action, and professional medical expertise on August 2nd, 2025, at East Beach, Port Jefferson, New York, this certificate of commendation is presented to registered nurse and village resident Marianne Kurtz. You're a nurse at St. Charles Hospital? Operating room. Okay. 25 years. I guess it came in handy that day. During a critical emergency, Nurse Kurtz provided immediate assistance employing the use of an AED machine in coordination with the lifeguard team present. Her decisive actions in collaboration with the lifeguard and head lifeguard were instrumental in saving the life of a victim in dire distress. This certificate is awarded with the deepest gratitude and respect for her dedication to the well-being of others and for exemplifying the highest standards of community service and medical professionalism. Presented on this 27th day of August 2025 on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Port Jefferson. Don't go anywhere. And third up, now this was a community effort. The three folks who are standing here today were in the lead, but there were a lot of people around that day just helping, right? This certificate of commendation is presented to John Shields in recognition of his rapid and critical response during a medical emergency at Port Jefferson East Beach, Port Jefferson, New York, on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. This certificate of commendation is presented to head lifeguard John Shields. At approximately 5:30 p.m., John arrived at East Beach after having been at West Beach and found that lifeguard Chris Scotto was assisting with a medical emergency involving a gentleman that lost consciousness and immediately coordinated with Chris to transport the victim safely. John Shields' quick thinking, vigilance, courage, and dedication exemplify the highest standards of lifeguard service and leadership and reflect great credit upon himself and the Village of Port Jefferson. Presented on this 27th day of August 2025 on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Port Jefferson. Mary, would you like to say a few words about the experience? Would you mind? Here you go. You don't have to.
Well, on the
Perspective, it would
yes, on the day of August 2nd, I have to say the lifeguard worked very fast, got the AED and the backboard, and there was another nurse. There were two other nurses and a medical doctor there, and they were running the code as well. So it was a lot of people involved, people calling 911, and we worked fast. And I have to say, the police came very fast, and the fire department was there within minutes. So,
And EMS.
yes, EMS. Yes. So it was a group effort, and we hope the man is doing well. Okay.
Thank you. Would either of you like to say anything? All right. Well, thank you so much for your efforts and for being, you're both village residents, all three of you are village residents, and we're very proud of you and we're grateful that you helped save a man's life. So thank you very much. And Renee Lemmerman to you too. Thank you. Okay, next up on our agenda is public to address the Board of Trustees. So would anyone like to address the Board of Trustees? Yes, sir.
foot fell asleep, that's what I'm. My name is Mike Fishkin, and I work at Mather Hospital. This is my 49th year at Mather Hospital. Currently, we have a situation at Mather where the employees were told we would have a open area to have lunch in a area which is basically enclosed by glass between the old building and the new building. And they were putting in some decaturf and astroturf, a waterfall, and some shrubbery. And all of this has been stopped. When the employees asked why it's stopped in mid-construction, we were told that the village is holding it up because of a permit issue. The administration at Mather Hospital feels that they don't need a permit because they're not doing anything, expanding anything, changing anything. They're just putting in some shrubs, a waterfall, and some astroturf. So I'm here tonight to try to just break the logjam. And if there's an issue, I could bring it back to Mather and the employees and also share it with the administration. Right now, it's really an eyesore, and it's a lovely spot that the summer is just completely going to waste. And that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to give your contact information to the clerk so we can
Sure.
continue the conversation?
Mayor, if I just may, sir, are you part of the administration?
I'm the medical director for Mather's Transitional Care Unit.
Is that part of the administration? I don't know.
No, I don't think I'm an administrator. I'm a physician.
Mayor, it's my understanding that these conversations are happening with our building department and the administration. So,
Well, I have to share with you
sir,
that
sir, I'm addressing the mayor, please.
I beg your pardon.
I believe it's better suited that our building department reached out to the decision makers. I don't think there's a middleman. This construction project that Mather Hospital has been going on for some time. Duly noted that you believe that there's a logjam that wishes to be broken, and we will refer that to the building department to handle.
Okay, I wouldn't be here tonight unless the CEO and president of Mather Hospital authorized me being here. I wouldn't speak on behalf of the hospital unless I had the permission of the hospital. So I'm not an administrator, but I would just like to see it get finished. So I'll be happy to leave that information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello, Madam Mayor, trustees. I'm Jackie Gurnay. I happen to be the deputy mayor of Belterre. But I'm here about the rumble strips that are on East Broadway. My house backs up to East Broadway, and probably about, 5 or 6 years ago, rumble strips were put in. The people on East Broadway came together and asked them to be removed. They do not slow the traffic. They make a terrible amount of noise. My windows rattle. I'm getting cracks in the plaster from them because trucks just go zooming down. They don't care about the strips. And I'm asking again that the village took care of it, got rid of them. I'm asking again those be taken down. And if there are plenty, I'm a big proponent of managing traffic, but there's got to be a better way because these are not doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Karen Sullivan, 66 Soundview Drive. So I just wanted to publicly thank Trustee Hill and Tracy Stapleton, our chairperson. I sit on the Public Safety Advisory Council. I'm one of the members there. And it's been a great experience so far, volunteering and being part of the committee. But I wanted to publicly thank Trustee Hill and Tracy Stapleton because we were able to collectively decide to put a speed sign on East Main Street. So we were able to do that. Thank you, Trustee Hill, for doing that. So now we have the opportunity to monitor some of that speed, because obviously the side of that street is the feeder for the ferry. So, speed is definitely something we're concerned about as a business owner on East Main. So I just wanted to publicly thank Trustee Hill for making sure that that got taken care of. The other thing that I am going to follow up with the bid and the Chamber of Commerce was several months ago, they had decided to spearhead some kind of a booklet or a handout for businesses to have that kind of gives them the lowdown and the how-to of what to do when you have a business. It was actually an idea that I had several months ago, and then which is great, and I heard the bid and the chamber were going to kind of take up that charge. So I am going to follow up and follow through with them on that, because I think that that is something that we still definitely need. And that brings me to my next kind of thing that happened today organically. I was in another business. I was down at my store at 146 East Main, and I was in another business talking to another business owner, and someone from Code that happened to be working had come in and said hello to both of us and just wanted to really let us know and reiterate that, the 2-hour parking that we have on East Main is going to be strictly enforced, and as it should. So, so I had said to him, I said, as a business owner, we're entitled to have a placard that hangs on our rearview mirror that entitles us to park wherever we can. And we only get one per business. So the one thing that I'm still not clear about, which is why and how that booklet really needs to come into the fold, is he wasn't clear either as to whether or not we're allowed with the placard to park more than 2 hours on East Main Street. So I had told him that I'm part of the Public Safety Committee, and that, I would kind of follow up with Kevin about that. So again, I think there is still some confusion around parking. I know we talk about this ad nauseum all the time, but I think we need to just make sure that they have the correct information, especially if they're disseminating, communicating that out to the businesses. He was extremely cordial, he was extremely professional, and I commended him for coming into a business and saying hello, because I think that that's what they should be doing. I think that's great because it creates open lines of communication and respect between them and the businesses. So it was a great interaction that we had with them, but it was just still a little confusing, and I'm still not sure if I'm allowed to stay on East Main, past 2 hours with a placard or not. So we'll just have to get that sorted out.
I will.
The sorting out is very simple.
Okay.
No. The 2-hour parking restrictions is meant for people, it's to benefit people like you, to move people along so you don't have employees holding up spots where someone might
Right.
just want to come in, pop in front of your store for a half hour, walk around, shop, and go. It's transitional parking. It's meant to move along.
Right.
Your placard gives you the ability to park for free, but it does not alleviate you from other parking rules and restrictions, such as handicap, resident only, and those types of things.
Okay.
So the answer is, and I have a meeting with the code commissioner tomorrow, I will make sure that he and his people are very much aware that the proper information is it relieves you from the burden of paying for parking, but all other rules do in fact apply.
Right. Okay, great.
Hopefully
I
that clears
appreciate
it up.
that. Yeah, and again, just, like you said, just giving them the correct information. Yeah, because it was very confusing when he was talking to us. And then the other thing, with the woman that just addressed that lives in Belterre, I just want to make sure that all village residents know that our meetings and the committees, like the public safety, the meetings are open, so they can come and address rumble strip concerns. They can come and sit with us and talk to us. We're there. Residents do come, and I love that because it feels very open and approachable to be there. And the other thing that I wanted to know is, as a public safety member of the committee, are our names and emails listed anywhere on the village website? Because for me, I think it should be there, because that way people have my contact information and be able to talk to us when we're out in the community. Residents and businesses, like all the businesses on East Main Street, they know that I sit on public safety. And if they have any concerns that they want me to bring up to Trustee Hill and to Tracy Stapleton and the police officer that sits with us on the committee, I tell them that all the time. Please let me know and I'll disseminate that information back to the committee for discussion. So I think it would be good for us to be listed somewhere, not just public safety, but all committees, so that way residents have a way to connect with us as well. So just an idea and a thought that I had. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looking to see if anyone else wants to make public comment. West side of the village is well represented today.
I am Michael Schwarting, 106 Bayview Terrace. I came before you a few months ago with an idea about dealing with the commercial versus residential traffic on Beach Street. And we've met, there are a lot of people here tonight that have encouraged me to make that presentation and have very specific and real concerns. We met with Trustee Hill, and he's taken on the task of talking with Tilcon and the sewer company and also the power plant to see if there's a way to reroute that traffic away from Beach Street and up mostly existing roads. Needed addition of about 1,000 feet from Beach Street up to existing sewer plant roads that connect to existing power plant roads that go to the intersection of Route 25A where the power lines cross just beyond the village. So I wanted to just again mention that we think there are important problems on Beach Street for safety and health, and as I had mentioned in the past, the committee that studied the waterfront zoning looked into this possibility years ago, and it seems that there was a pretty strong interest in having a mixed-use possibility of maintaining commercial waterfront activities and residential coexisting together. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Can I speak?
Of course.
So I moved into Beach Street 25 years ago, and I was on the original waterfront redistricting committee, and we did talk about it. And at that time, the concern was terrorism. They said that after 9/11, this is 25 years ago, they didn't want to open up that road because they were concerned about potential terrorism. Everybody who has been here long enough will remember when the ferry had police officers checking the cars coming and going. It was, everyone was scared at the time. That was 25 years ago. There's no more concern as far as that specific complaint. The trucks throw up dust. It's unhealthy. I have to wash my house once a week, twice a week to get the dust off. The kids have bus stops right there. The trucks go by. There's that danger. There's also the danger of long-term dust inhalation for their lungs. 2 trucks can't pass. They have to go up on the sidewalk to pass. That's why that sidewalk cracks all the time. It's dangerous. The road exists. It just makes perfect sense to redirect the trucks so that they don't come through Port Jeff Village. They won't come up 112 and they won't come down our block. They'll come out over by that hot dog stand up on 25A when you go up the hill. Everybody's seen the gated road right there. Why not do it? It just makes so much sense to do it. So it's a health concern. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, you do. Come on up.
Hello. Regina Stanton, 107 Beach Street. I just wanted to reiterate, the dust is unbelievable, and I appreciate if you move somewhere where something's already established, shame on you, but it's gotten so much worse. I mean, I walk my dog every morning down Beach Street, and if I don't get out before 7 a.m., I'm like this, walking by. I'm not kidding. And they supposedly do the street cleaner. I don't think there's any water in the street cleaner, but it's just, all they do is just move dust. I don't know I think it would be helpful if they put out more sprinklers at the beginning, but it's really just, it's just horrible. I mean, it's on our porches. I can't open my windows, and during the day between 7 and 3. Now my son's bus stop is at 7 p.m., not 6:50, and so he's going to get literally 15 trucks passing by at 7 o'clock. And if one's coming back out and the other one's coming, my husband actually took a video. It goes up on the curb. And I've said this before, I'm sorry, like about a year ago. There's cracks in the sidewalks, and we're paying for it because of the Tilcon trucks. So I just wanted to reiterate that I'm here for Beach Street, for
Okay.
all the reasons on Beach Street. Thank you.
Regina.
Kelly, 105 Beach Street. I would just like to suggest that when you all have a chance, go down by the garden. Spend a few minutes, mid to late morning in the garden, and watch the dust go by with each truck, and not just the trucks, every vehicle that passes. And that dust makes it all the way up to my house at the beginning of the street. So when you guys get a chance, go sit down at the Village Garden for a little bit, and you'll understand what we're dealing with, okay? Thank you.
Hi, Chris Cremens again, 111 Beach Street. Yeah, I have twin children that their bus stop's on Beach Street. It once was in front of our house, and then it was up by Shell. Either way, we have to, we try not to go. My wife drives her car around the parking lot, and they sit in the car so that they don't have to breathe in all the dust. I did a little bit of research into it. I won't get too in depth, but the silica crystals are really bad for humans, and it's not something that goes away. And long-term effects of it can be fatal, of course. And it causes other issues as well, which is pretty common from this type of rock quarry, Tilcon. I'm not sure exactly what type of rock that they sell, but we are kind of recording it. We're going to get some information about that to further possibly help us. But yeah, our yards are filled with dust. Our kids, they can't play when there's trucks going up and down the street. They have to stay inside. We can't open our windows. My house is brown in the front. I have, glass solar. It covers that. I have to clean that. The cars, forget about it. If you go up and down Beach Street, you'll see daily use cars are covered in dust. Specifically, when the street sweeper does come up the street, I do see it has water. It doesn't seem to work well. However, their method seems to be on a perfectly clean street after it rains. Quite often, they'll drag that dirt back up the street, and they actually cake the street with mud and dust. And then once that dries, that's where you're getting the dust. So most of the dust is happening from that scenario where the street cleaner is supposedly cleaning the street. I went down there, I looked, I see it's like a bold area where all the rain does come from all the streets washing down all the sand and whatever in front of Tilcon, basically. So I believe they're just trying to get rid of that too by bringing it maybe back up, or maybe they just don't know. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Gerald Thompson, 201 Bayview Terrace, representing Bayview Terrace, one street up from Beach, and we still get the dust from the cars, the trucks moving in the morning. I also have children. The bus stop is right at Shell and Beach, and they're exposed to that. Also, there's another maybe related hazard that a lot of cars are coming in and out on a work change at either the power plant or the sewage plant. And it seems to me that the cars are trying to beat the trucks in coming in, and so they come zipping down quite often along the road. And I think if the trucks were not using the exit onto Broadway, that might be less of a hazard. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If that's all our comments for tonight, we'll transition to trustee comments. And I'll just start by saying that the trustees share these concerns. Trustee Hill, Trustee Ugrinsky are both deployed to work on this issue. Trustee Ugrinsky, from the perspective that she has been working with and in conversations with Northville and Tilcon and the power plant through her power plant working group liaisonship, and also Trustee Hill has taken on this effort, and I've been involved, but there's two trustees that can work together and collaborate together on one issue. You can't have more than two by law, so the two of them are collaborating, and with them putting their heads together and the relationships that they've formed with the commercial industries on that street, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We did hear about another entity. So we have the Suffolk County Sewage Treatment Plant. We have Northville, Tilcon, National Grid, and North Shore Tree and Landscaping is up there, apparently. So again, I'm not going to talk about this anymore because I'll defer to Kyle and Zena, but I just wanted to acknowledge that we are listening to you. We hear what you're saying, and we share your concerns. We don't live your concerns, but we share them. So we'll do everything we can to try and resolve that. We look every time I drive past that access street on 25A in East Talkett, I point it out and say that's where they're coming. That's where if we can get that done, these are the two folks who can certainly work together to do it. Thank you for the information about the street sweeper too. Karen Sullivan, putting your email on the website might, it's been done before. Is Karen still here? Oh, okay. It's been done before. It tends to be a attractant for spam and phishing. So you think about that. I think we might have an email address for public safety. Trustee Hill is the liaison too, and commissioner, so there are ways to access that organization, but that's your call. So I think that's all I have in terms of trustee comments for me. Let's start down with Trustee Hill on my left and make our way down to the right.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to say that Trustee Ugrinsky and I are working on the Tilcon issue. Trustee Ugrinsky set up a meeting for us with Tilcon. We're having an initial meeting with them the Friday after Labor Day. We've already had conversations rolling with PCEG and National Grid. It's very complicated. National Grid owns the property. PCEG uses it and runs it. The only other update is it does appear that the landscaping company does have their own separate driveway, which is indecipherable from the street and Google Maps, but they're apparently not using that access point. But they are, to your point about the risks of terrorism, that seems also like a certainly decent driveway to go down if folks wanted to do something horrible. They're plenty of opportunities, so we shouldn't limit ourselves just because of that. And I think that's all I have to say about the Beach Street issue. And we've also, before with the incidents happening with folks loitering, we did forward those on to the town councilman. So there's certainly over the last weekend especially more than we've ever seen, but those conversations have been weeks in the works at this point, not just from, over the last few days, I'd say.
Just as far as Beach Street and the issue with the sweeper, I will, as Commissioner of DPW, I'll talk to the DPW, make sure that they're using the sweeper properly, and seeing where they're dumping the dirt, and see if there's something that they can change around for that, so that there's not so much dust on the street.
The sweeper is from Tilcon that does the streets.
Is it?
The village,
It's the Tilcon sweeper or the? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, and I'm going to pile on here. So first of all, thank you for the Beach Street petition that you guys forwarded to the mayor, because that's how Trustee Hill and I learned about it. The reason it's Trustee Hill and myself is he's safety, and I am on the power plant working group. There is, as you heard from the mayor, there's a pretty long stack of folks who are all stakeholders in this, commercial stakeholders, right, in addition to yourselves, because you live there. So our efforts are going to be really starting those conversations first individually, and then just bringing them together in an effort to create a community-based solution for this, and encourage each of those companies to participate as part of as being good, responsible members of this community, because they are in our community. So, we have our first meeting, I think it's September 9th, here at Village Hall with some of the stakeholders. In the meantime, we're trying to get everyone else to the table. So Tilcon's already coming. National Grid is very involved, and we're trying to get to some of the other folks that also have a stake in this. So Northville also uses that has a location up there, and so we will keep you apprised on our progress. But thanks for making the effort to bring it forward. Okay. The only other thing I had was I'm working with the golf course as the liaison to the country club, and we are making every effort to improve the process that we went through last year on golf rates, and so we are targeting a September month end final approval of rates. The information that goes into that is not just what happens at the golf course this year, but also what do they need, what things in addition to sort of the normal operating funds would they need. Those go into the rates. We're looking at the various memberships, and just so that you guys have an understanding of what the process is. The treasurer Gafka has put together a 5-year forecast or model of what those rates could be. We're looking at the various membership types to see if there's any reason to change things based on utilization of the golf course. Those approvals, before they get to the Board of Trustees, also has to go through the CCMAC, and some of those folks are being brought in or voted on tonight. So we'd like to get them organized as quickly as possible because we put a timeline in place to ensure that we don't land in the same place as last year. So that is where we're at now. And for the power plant working group, we have 2 new members that joined us last week for the first time. So spent some time getting them up to speed on everything that we've done and the relationship building we've done. Wesley Francione is an engineer at Suffolk Community and does have some connections into SUNY Stony Brook Advanced Energy Center, so that's a great addition to the group. Plus, we've got Jim Gray, who comes from essentially what is a lineman family. So he has grown up around the utility industry, so another good addition to the team. And we'll continue to keep you guys posted on what we're doing. So, thank you. That's it for me.
I feel for everyone on Beach Street. I have some friends that live in that neighborhood, and I hear those complaints constantly. So, and I think you have a very good team. Trustee Ugrinsky and Trustee Hill are, competent. They're going to really take care of this issue, I'm sure. I wish Mr. Scotto and Mr. Shields and Ms. Kurtz was still here. It's just amazing, our community, how we just jump into action. We live in such an amazing place. And some of these little issues that happen, which now become big issues, when it becomes respiratory issues and your houses are being affected and your kids can't go outside. I feel like the board's going to take care of that issue for you guys because it's important to the entire community that we address the issue. So, thanks.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
The only thing I want
Sure,
to
sure.
add on is Public Safety Advisory Council usually meets the first Monday of the month. For September, that is on Labor Day, so we moved it to the following Monday, which is the 8th at 7 p.m. in Village Hall. So you're all more than welcome to join us, like Karen Sullivan mentioned. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to make a plug for a new committee that we're establishing called the IT Committee, Technology. So we have a lot of technology, experienced technology professionals in our community, and they will be stepping up. And we've got, how many volunteers do we have so far? Trustee Ugrinsky, do you know, 3 or 4?
Yeah, we have one that's already been added that we spoke to in resolution, doing the job for $1. But we've got a couple of residents who have stepped up. One is a CIO, and another one with also some deep roots in technology and cybersecurity. This is important because there are a couple of things that we have to get done before the end of the year. So we have to complete the real rollout of our Microsoft licenses, and that includes sort of becoming consistent across all departments on how we're using technology. The first thing we're going to ask that committee to do is an IT and software inventory, because at this point we know that various departments are using various software, and nobody really has one centralized way of understanding how many licenses we're paying for, how it's being used, et cetera. So there may be opportunities to both become more effective and efficient at our use of technology, but also to save money, which is always, as Commissioner of Finance, I'm always looking for ways to do that. And the second thing is, as part of really rolling out Microsoft as our vendor of use that provides us an opportunity for, as a municipality, to improve our cyber posture, because if you guys remember what happened a couple of years ago with Suffolk County, we don't want to have that happen here. We also want to ensure that important data, like resident data or even the data that involves some of our elected officials, right? We're included to provide quite a bit of personal information, and we'd like to make sure that those things are protected. Things like contract negotiations should be, we should be completely confident that it is locked away and access is granted only to those people who should have access to it. And the last thing is a natural part of that transition to a more secure posture is we're required by New York State to go from a .com to a .gov, which by definition is considered FISMA High, which is a cybersecurity standard, and we're required to do that by the end of this year. So that committee is going to be tasked with getting some things done very quickly, and I would encourage anyone who has some IT background or experience in sort of software management or cyber or website management and would like to participate on that committee, please, go to the volunteer area of the website and put in an application. I'm not certain that committee is listed yet, so just write it in and include your CV.
It is.
Great. So it's been updated. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and we'd love to have you and work with you, and just it's going to be a super interesting project for anyone that wants to participate.
Okay. Clerk Perillo, what's next? Do we have public hearing announcements, resolutions?
Yes, a public hearing, Mayor.
Can you?
Mayor, we have a resolution to open the public hearing regarding a proposed local law amending Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 62, Schedule 14, No Standing, and Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 71, Schedule 23, No Stopping, of the Code of the Village of Port Jefferson to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the southeast corner of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road for a distance of 300 feet east, and to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the south side of Old Post Road West, 210 feet west of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road. May I have a motion, please, to open that public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and Trustee Hill, do you want to talk about this one a little bit?
Sure. So this is just a technical update to the code change that we had passed at our prior, or a month ago. This is actually brought to us by resident Barbara Sabatino. So thank you very much for pointing out the drafting error, or there was a miscommunication somewhere along the way, and we didn't actually specify the direction down the corner that we intended to. I think it was one of those ones where you're reading it over and over and you know what you mean, but not necessarily what it is, or the words written down. Thank you for pointing that out. This is what we're doing to correct that. So this would iron out that wrinkle and finish the code change over by the school to improve safety over there, so folks won't be able to stop or stand on the far side of the road, and then this way students are unable to jump out into the road to get picked up by their parent or guardian. This way it just improves safety overall. And the lines are already down to improve the safety by the crosswalk to help out our crossing guard over there who alerted us to this issue, and also by the fire hydrant near the school as well. So thank you, Mayor, for bringing this to the agenda tonight, and hopefully that answers everyone's questions on this.
Okay. Any other trustee comment? Public comment? Questions? Okay, sounds like we're ready to close this public hearing.
It would appear so, Mayor. Resolution to close the public comment portion of the public hearing regarding a proposed local law amending Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 62, Schedule 14, no standing, and Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 71, Schedule 23, no stopping, of the Code of the Village of Port Jefferson to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the southeast corner of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road for a distance of 300 feet east, and to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the south side of Old Post Road West, 210 feet west of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road. May I have a motion to please close the hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Next is a resolution adopting the proposed local law as attached, amending Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 62, Schedule 14, no standing, and Chapter 245, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 71, Schedule 23, no stopping, of the Code of the Village of Port Jefferson to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the southeast corner of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road for a distance of 300 feet east, and to prohibit stopping and to prohibit standing from the south side of Old Post Road West, 210 feet west of the intersection of Old Post Road West and Dark Hollow Road. May I have a motion to adopt the proposed local law, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, Mayor, Board Public, we have the executive session portion of the meeting, and then we will return for action items. With that, may I have a resolution to enter into executive session to discuss a contract negotiation and the specific performance of a particular employee?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will be back to conclude our resolution agenda as quickly as possible.
Motion to reopen.
Ready? Thank you, Trustee Franco. May I have a resolution to close the executive session portion of the August 27th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Port Jefferson?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. With that, we will begin action on our agenda items, noting for the public that resulting from executive session, we have 3 new resolutions. So with that, we have resolution number 1, 82725, resolution approving the attached minutes of the July 30th, 2025 and August 13th, 2025 meetings of the Village of Port Jefferson Board of Trustees. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 2, 82725, resolution scheduling a public hearing for 6:00 p.m. on September 24th, 2025 at Port Jefferson Village Hall, 121 West Broadway, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777, regarding a petition for a change of zoning classification from professional office, PO, district to moderate density residence, RM district, submitted by Beechwood Port Jefferson LLC for the property located at 450 Myrtle Avenue, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777, and known as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 02060130000100 008001 and 009001. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 3, 82725, resolution approving the attached change order in the amount of $30,000 as submitted by JRH Consulting Engineers DPC for the continuance of professional architectural and engineering services and assistance to the planning and zoning boards of the Village of Port Jefferson. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion for the public, just very simply. This is an annual expenditure that was budgeted, and, and we're just approving it. It's the timing of when that comes due. So.
And a good portion of this amount is covered in fees that are paid through developers, and am I correct in stating that, Treasurer Gafka?
Yes.
He's a man of few words today.
Feel free to elaborate. Or not, but, it's covered by fees that are charged by the Building and Planning Department to conduct business and develop things in the village and build in the village.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 4, 82725, resolution approving the attached memorandum of understanding between the Village of Port Jefferson and Lessings Hospitality Group, Port Jefferson Country Club, for the exclusive use by the general manager of the Lessings Hospitality Group, Port Jefferson Country Club, of an approximately 10-foot by 10-foot office space located at the Port Jefferson Country Club, 44 Fairway Drive, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? So this motion comes out of a request. The MOU is attached in the document, correct?
Yes, Mayor, in draft form.
So this is out of a request from the Port Jefferson Country Club general manager for Lessings, who is seeking to work out of some organized office space rather than working on tabletops in the dining room. And this is a preliminary first step of an agreement, amendments to the agreement, which we have not discussed or in any way advanced yet, but this seemed like a simple enough action to take under and I'm looking for the MOU, because I'd like to just highlight it a little bit. Thank you, Robert. So, just abbreviating, it's understood that by and between the parties that Lessings intends to make additional capital improvements to the Port Jefferson Country Club facility. Those improvements include, but may not be limited to, repurposing the former tennis pro shop, gym, and locker room relocation, and/or improvements, the creation of a member lounge, and the meadow outdoor space, which is currently under beautification process. Anyone can look at this memorandum of understanding. It's attached to the agenda, but Lessings has proven to be a very collegial and invested partner in this facility, in this property. And what we have to do going forward is really sit down with them and work through some of the and formalize some of the agreements to figure out what space will be used in what way. This is step one to getting to that amendment to the lease agreement. So, any questions?
But right now, it's just for that one office space.
It's simply for that one
Right.
office.
I would just like to add to that, they have proven themselves to be a good partner. They are investing in the facility in significant excess to what they are contractually required to do, which to me is evidence of a good beginning to a partnership. I think the one thing that really needs to be highlighted in this particular discussion is that the village itself has not yet, and this is in direct response to, there's a lot of chatter out there. The village itself has not yet determined what it wants and how this entire facility is going to look and how it's going to be used in support of the golf course, but also in support of the residents. So because this is a negotiation that is still underway, or hasn't even begun yet, because we don't have the answers to even begin a negotiation, just please everyone be aware that if you hear specifics around, well, we're not going to be able to do this or use it for that, it is so premature to make any kind of statements like that. That has not been determined by the village. And when I say the village, that includes the residents. So
I do have a concern about the Meadow project, and I've broached this topic several times, that we currently somehow are doing like a pseudo joint venture project with Lessings on this Meadow project. But we don't, again, we don't have engineering. We don't have any design plans. I'm still trying to figure out who from the village authorized the Meadow project, because I don't recall it being voted on by the board. So I would love for someone to tell me who authorized the village engineers, because when I was there, I spoke to one of the Hayduck, I guess one of the sons of the partner, and, you know, I believe we're paying for it, Hayduck, to do the engineering. I don't know, as a board member, I don't have any information on how we got involved with a joint venture here when none of us on this board, from what I understand, or the previous board, voted to authorize this project on the Meadows. Can someone explain to me how the village got involved with Lessings without board approval?
The village got involved with Lessings without board approval?
Well, we're talking about the Meadow project that we,
They're beautifying the space adjacent west to the building.
the beautifying adjacent west of the building, what you would
And
refer
all
to-
of the,
let me finish.
all
What
of
you
the,
would
invest-
refer to
all of the
as Meadow
investment has
project.
been theirs financially.
So, but.
We provided consulting engineering to help with the drainage planning.
Well, I would disagree with one respect, that we have also provided labor from the golf course.
It's the country club.
From the golf course, maintenance crew to work on the project. But again, my question is, did the board approve this project?
A beautification project to put sod and topsoil in?
So you're saying that we didn't
Is
put-
that something that requires board approval? No.
So we didn't have to
It's
get board approval to
maintenance.
put drainage in?
Beautification and maintenance.
My understanding of that project is we took to remove the eyesore of the dilapidated tennis courts and plant grass. What happens from there has not happened yet. And to alleviate the taxpayer burden, I believe that Lessings offered to help in that venture, because it also beautifies and helps sell their space. And in either case, our engineer was to be involved because it's a village asset. So assuming that nothing comes to fruition of this MOU about the Meadow project and outdoor wedding space and cornhole and everything that they want and we want, it's a village space that just needed to be upkept. Now, the understanding under the MOU is they have all of these good intentions, and their good faith to show they had these good intentions was to help the village expedite the project in order for them to better be able to sell their good, which is this wedding space. Assuming that's what happened, then no, it doesn't need a resolution to do. We already have an engineer on staff. If there is engineering, I don't disagree with the trustee that if engineering was done, we should have the engineer explain, if it's to satisfy the trustee, if we should have the engineer come in and explain what was done engineering-wise in furtherance of the village's effort to remove the eyesore of a unused, dilapidated tennis court, with the idea maybe down the road to enter into a joint venture under a memorandum of understanding to allow the country club to also use that same space in times opposite of when the village may want to use it around the village's schedule. That's my understanding, if that helps.
So the beautification, flowers and grass and taking out the dilapidated tennis court, when you put in leaching pools and French drains and don't have engineering on that, on municipal property, are you saying, Attorney Moran, that we don't need to vote on that as a board to say, yes, we're going to approve this, and we don't need, whether it's Lessings or our own engineers, to provide us with a layout of this project?
I did not say that.
And that's why I'm trying to get a clarification
What I said
beyond
was my opinion,
beautification.
if that's what it is, if they decided to rebuild the tennis courts and they said, you know what, this tennis court needs draining, you don't need a resolution to do that. We have it's our burden to do that for the taxpayer. What I'm saying is, if that engineering exists, because we had our engineering on site, we should obtain it, because you're asking for it. And if there's leaching pools, because our engineer is also overseeing the possible whatever's happening with the bluff, and the need to tie that into whatever GEI and the bluff and the drainage. I believe that coordination has also taken place, which is why there's leaching pools and French drains. But I agree with your assessment that if there's engineering, we should see it.
What I'm also saying is before the project started, we should have been presented engineering, layouts and plans of what was going to be done on this project, because it's extensive. It's not just beautification and putting down grass and a few flowers. You actually put in sprinkler systems. You put in fencing. You put in leaching, French drains along, I think it was approximately a few hundred feet. You put in multiple leaching pools. How could you do that project on municipal property with having a private vendor do that without this board approving it? That doesn't make any sense. That means a vendor can do anything they want, anywhere they want on our property, and we don't have any say on how it's done. We don't see before they even start a project. We find this out afterwards? No, that's not how it works. That's backwards. We need to get this information before a project is started. And I'm pretty sure that I have never heard or seen anything, and I've asked on multiple occasions and sent multiple emails about this and have received nothing. So again, my question is, this is municipal property. This is not just a beautification, putting down grass seed and flowers. This is putting in leaching pools and drainage, where our engineer was on site overseeing the project. We should have been notified that in advance, and that should have come up for a vote whether or not this board even wanted to go forward with that project. So that's where we are. So my question again is, are you saying to me that the board should not have been presented this information to vote on it before it went forward?
I'm saying to you, I gave my opinion of the project. I was not asked that question before the project started, or whether or not it needed board approval. The board approved the engineer, the board approved GEI, the board approved the engineer to work on behalf of the village on certain projects. And that expenditure of money has already occurred. I don't know, as I sit here, the role of each entity. I don't know who the country club may have hired to do the work. I heard you say in this building that our employees are doing the work. I don't know if that's all the work, some of the work. Who are they answering to? I don't have any of those answers. Legally, if the DPW department takes to, or the country club takes to beautify the facility, and we already have an engineer on record to suggest how they should do it, and there's no additional expenditures of village funds than already voted on and approved, then no, under that scenario, that very limited scope, it would not need, every project at that point does not need to come before this board. It's also wrong to say that any vendor anywhere can do anything they want, because somebody must have known what was going on, whether it's DPW, someone had to say, tennis courts out, grass in. But as long as we're putting grass in, we don't want dead grass in 5 months, so let's sprinkler it. We don't want water. We already know we have a drainage problem up here, which is causing the bluff to, so let's put in these leaching pools. We already have somebody on staff to do that. So I don't know, as I sit here, if there was additional expenditure of taxpayer money, which would have required a vote of this board. I don't know that, so I can't answer your question.
So, Treasurer Gafka, have we paid Hayduck, our engineer, that's a consultant for, I assume they're the consulting engineering firm for the village, have we paid them to work on this project?
You don't need a treasurer to answer that question. The engineer was hired for the specific purpose to be at the village's disposal at a certain dollar rate. So every time Hayduck weighs in on a question, it doesn't have to be approved by this board. It's already been approved by this board. So the idea that if it is a village project and the village has undertaken this project, the engineer weighing in on it has already been voted on and funded.
But as the mayor stated, it's not a village project. Well, she just said it a few minutes ago, and we can get a clarification that it's not a village project. It is the vendor footing the bill for the project, but that's not actually completely accurate because village resources and money have been expended on this project. And when that happens, and it's not just grass and seed, this is a pretty big project. I can't imagine how anybody would say that that project's initiation does not need board approval. It doesn't make any sense to me. This is more than just a beautification. That's disingenuous to say that. This is leaching pools, this is drainage, this is sprinkler systems on a bluff that has erosion issues. So how would this board not want to be informed prior to the initiation of that project?
Question to me, whether or not you should have been informed or whether or not there's a legal impediment, two different questions.
Well, NICOM has already told me that, yes, we should have been informed on this. I laid out this entire project to them.
And if you ask 100 village attorneys, they will tell you that NICOM is an interesting body and not always correct.
Wouldn't disagree with that, but their response to it was, you know, I felt confident with. And I just don't understand how we're doing a project this big. We're not even doing this project. This is the vendor doing this project on municipal property without board approval. I don't understand, and again, I don't mean to be redundant, and I apologize. I just cannot, I can't get an answer on who authorized this project to go forward.
I know you're looking at me, but I can tell you it wasn't me.
I definitely know it wasn't you. The question is to the group. Who from this board, someone had to authorize it. I mean, Pat Sullivan, the head of grounds, did not say, hey, we're going to do this project. Who authorized it?
I did.
Okay. Again, that again reiterates that this should have been brought to the board for a vote. Mayor, I disagree. I think that this absolutely should have been brought to us.
It started, Matt, as a beautification project.
And expanded.
You're asking a lot of questions. If you'd like, I can answer some of them.
Certainly.
I think the way I remember it, this was presented at a work session, and I think it may actually have been before you were on the board, Trustee Franco. I think this was early June, right before the change in the board, or
yeah,
late,
it would have been the
late
last
May,
meeting.
Which could be. So the board was informed that this project was on its way. I will agree with Trustee Franco that we didn't know there was going to be any like hydrology engineering related to it. From this discussion, which is beyond the scope of the resolution that we're considering, so I would encourage the board to get back to the agenda. But perhaps maybe I think a valid question from this did. My understanding is that this is a country club project funded by Lessings. Did the country club go, and I don't want an answer tonight, I think we can move on and figure out from there, but did we adhere to the lesson that we said we learned related to Al's property and the trees that got cut down without a permit? Was there any permitting that was necessary for this project, and did that get done? I don't think we have that answer at the tip of our fingers right now, but maybe that's a valid question that we could look into.
So no permitting because it is outside of the scope of DEC. DEC has issued a non-jurisdiction letter for the second phase of the Bluff project as it was designed originally.
Mm-hmm. But I mean for the village itself, because the issue with Al's house was that the country club did not adhere to the tree code, right? If I'm remembering it correctly, and they didn't get permits for the trees that were ultimately removed, and then the issue happened. So I think for us to satisfy as many parties as possible, it might be worth making sure that we have the correct permitting for that project through our own village code. If needed, yes.
Good point. Okay, should we go back to the agenda then? Sure. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 582725, resolution ratifying the approval of the attached renewal agreement between the Village of Port Jefferson and the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund for the provision of dental and vision insurance coverages as proscribed, and authorizing Mayor Shepro to sign the renewal agreement on behalf of the Village of Port Jefferson. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 6, 82725, resolution authorizing the solicitation of a request for quotations for the purchase of a replacement fuel management and dispenser system located at 88 North Country Road. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 7, 82725, resolution approving the event application submitted by Adam Sherrard on behalf of the Port Jefferson Union Free School District for the use of specified village streets as well as village personnel for traffic control from 7 o'clock p.m. through 8 o'clock p.m. on September 19th, 2025 for the annual homecoming parade. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 8, 82725, resolution ratifying the approval of the event application submitted by Leonard Carolyn on behalf of LISEC, which is the Long Island Seaport and Eco Center, for the use of portions of Harborfront Park from 9 o'clock a.m. through 3 o'clock p.m. on August 23rd, 2025, and August 24th, 2025, for the annual Sikaflex Boat Build, Parade, and Race. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 9, 82725, resolution approving the following to the Country Club Management Advisory Council, known as the CCMAC: Lillian Clayman, Peter Poten, Alex Spiegel, and Eli Zamek. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 10, 82725, resolution ratifying the hiring of Rima Potter as a part-time seasonal camp director for the Village Discovery Camp at an hourly wage rate of $25 per hour, effective August 18th, 2025, through August 29th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 11, 82725, resolution ratifying the hiring of Neil Bialik as a part-time seasonal outside staff employee at the Port Jefferson Country Club at an hourly wage rate of $18 per hour, effective August 12th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 12, 82725, resolution hiring Brett Bailey and Robert Rodriguez as code enforcement officers at an hourly wage rate of $19.31 per hour, effective August 28th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 13, 82725, resolution accepting the letter of resignation submitted by Code Enforcement Officer Ubid Khan, effective August 19th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 14, 82725, resolution accepting the resignation of Rima Potter as a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, effective August 7th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
On the motion, I just wanted to thank her for the work that she did for the council and, the dedication that she gave to the village in those years that she served on the council. So, thank you, Rima.
I'll +1 that.
Agree. She's always been so involved,
Yeah.
and she will be again, I'm sure. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 15, 82725, resolution appointing alternate member Maria Palmar as a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Council for a term to expire in June of 2027. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All
Bless
in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 16, 82725, resolution recording grant funding related to the rehabilitation of the Village Hall restrooms and correcting the corresponding capital project expense budget by authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 103 as follows. Increase budgeted revenue for line item H 3089, other government aid, by $39,000, and increase expenses for line item H 8997595, Village Hall bathrooms, by $39,000. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 17, 82725, resolution recording the receipt of parkland fees from the Port Jefferson Commons project and budgeting the transfer of those funds to the capital fund by authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 104 as follows. Increase budgeted revenue for line item A 2001001 parkland fees by $100,700 and increase expenses for line item A 99509 interfund transfer by $100,700. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second. Apologies.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 18-82725, resolution budgeting the transfer of parkland fees from the general fund into the capital fund, and increasing the capital fund budget by authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 105 as follows. Increase budgeted revenue for line item H 5031 interfund transfer by $100,700, and increase expenses for line item H 8997601 parkland projects by $100,700. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 19-82725, resolution to close out the funds remaining in the capital project expenses listed below, and to budget the transfer of the remaining funds back to the general fund at no net change to the budget by authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 106 as follows. Decrease expenses for line item H 8997594 tennis court bathrooms by $8,257.53. Decrease expenses for line item H 8997595 village hall restrooms by $29,978. Decrease expenses for line item H 8997599 retaining walls East Beach Highland by $11,284.01. Decrease expenses for line item H 89976 recharge basin by $1,685. Decrease expenses for line item H 8997607 dock piling repair by $500. And lastly, increase expenses for line item H 99509 interfund transfers by $51,704.54. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 20-82725, resolution approving the check register and warrants dated August 25th, 2025, as presented by Treasurer Gafka and as approved by Claims Auditor Goodwin. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 21 is from our previous add-on where we discussed disorderly conduct, and it reads as follows. Resolution scheduling a public hearing for 6:00 p.m. on September 24th, 2025 at Port Jefferson Village Hall, 121 West Broadway, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777, regarding a proposed local law amending Chapter 181, Peace and Good Order, Article 2, Disorderly Conduct, Sections 6, Disorderly Acts Enumerated, and Article 2, Section 7, Penalties for Offenses of the Code of the Village of Port Jefferson. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We now have 3 resolutions that resulted from our executive session. The first is resolution number 22-82725. Resolution appointing Richard J. Leonard as the assessor for the Village of Port Jefferson and an annual salary of $35,000 per year, effective September 4th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 23-82725, resolution contracting with Harry Weed as a consultant to the Department of Public Works for purposes of training, operational assessment and evaluation, at an hourly rate of $135 per hour, and an initial commitment of 3 days per week at 4 to 6 hours per day as needed, effective September 2nd, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 24-82725, resolution appointing Dennis Bernier as a labor crew leader in the Department of Public Works at an annual salary of $60,385.22 per year, effective August 28th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Lastly, we have resolution number 25-82725, which is a resolution to close the August 27th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Trustees at 9:03 p.m. May I have a motion?
Oh, let's stay.
No one wants to close the meeting today?
It actually says that you make the motion.
Do I? Okay. I make the motion. I don't have the piece of paper in front of me. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I'll second it.
Thank you.
Discussion. Hold on.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I was just reminded that we did have a CHA permit for that project, and the building department looked at it Thank you, Kyle, for reminding. And that didn't trigger it. I was texting our engineer, and we did get a CHA permit, which is a coastal erosion hazard area permit that Andy Freeling is our CHA administrator. And so we did get a permit, and the building department was fully aware of the project. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Meeting is
Good-
closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.